Hello and welcome to episode 10 of Into the Podcast. I am your host, Sam, and I am joined each and every week by the delectable Ryan Chittenden.
Hello, Sam. How are you?
I'm very well. How are you?
Very good, thank you.
Yeah, it's been a really nice period, hasn't it?
Lovely Christmas period. Nice to have time off from work.
Yeah, we're not seeing each other a lot because of Christmas Day and all that sort of stuff, so it's nice to get together. And also, we're doing this with a bunch of beers in hand.
I know, it's nice, isn't it? That's the beauty of having time off where, come over a little bit earlier than normal rather than doing like after work or trying to fit it in where we can. Yeah. Just, chilling. Have some beers.
The wife's out enjoying a bit of a piss up, so you and me thought we'd enjoy a bit of a piss up ourselves.
Exactly, yeah. And, probably continue long into the night.
Exactly, my friend. So you guys will have hopefully have watched this by now, but actually straight after this recording, we're going to be doing a live stream with the Utopia Project. We have mentioned this in previous episodes. So hopefully it went well and hopefully we won. By the time you listen to this. But if you have
up the Into the Podcast.
Yeah, exactly. If you haven't already, please give them guys a like and a follow. And definitely subscribe on YouTube, as that's where most of their work's going. And on top of that, if you haven't got time for that and you're thinking, well, I should only really subscribe to one podcast this week or only like one Facebook page this week, make it Into the Podcast, not Utopia Project.
Yeah, but,
Because, do both. Because if you're doing one, you may as well do both.
Exactly.
Turns out that we have a YouTube page. Did you know this?
It's the first time I'm hearing of it.
Yeah, so apparently, I don't know how I did this, but I set up for this podcast to be turned into a video and go straight onto YouTube.
Right.
And I only saw the other day when one of our podcasts popped up on YouTube, and I was like, oh, I didn't know that was a thing.
Me neither.
I don't know how I set that up, but well done, me.
Well done, yeah, smashed it. So please subscribe to that as well.
Yeah, fuck it, why not? We don't do anything with it, but, maybe one day.
Yeah, exactly. We've got that option, haven't we?
Exactly, and this is the thing about this podcast. We have a lot of ideas that we're going to be coming up with. I've been borrowing a lot of gear to look at things like streaming, so you can watch me and Ryan game together, because that's always fun because we're dog shit.
It's always a good laugh though, isn't it?
It's always a good laugh.
It's funny when you shit.
Yeah, exactly. And some of the other people and characters that we've mentioned on the podcast, friends of ours, you get to hear and watch them. So hopefully within the next month or so, I'll have been able to figure out how we're going to do that, because I'm shit with technology.
You're so much better than me though.
How I'm doing this is beyond me, but it's great. So, we didn't really have a plan of what to do this week, did we? We only discussed it about 5 minutes ago.
Pretty much, yeah. Just knock an episode together.
Exactly. And there was one big thing we needed to discuss. You forgot something last episode, didn't you, Ryan?
Oh, I did. It was literally straight after we finished the episode, obviously, because we talked about our top films of 2022. But my list is just like in the order of I've seen the new films that year. So it's not just 2022. So it's a random list. And as I was reading through, as soon as we finished, I was like, shit, I totally forgot about Elvis.
Yeah, which I have not seen. So that's why I did not pick up on it. I remember you going to see it and the reason why I've brought this up.
Yeah.
But I never got around to it. I was going to watch it recently, and then I saw it was nearly 3 hours long, and I just didn't have that to dedicate to a film.
Yeah, it's a long old film, but it's a really, really cool biopic about Elvis, his life, because I didn't really know a lot about Elvis, really.
No,
obviously I know his songs, I know you get sort of like the pictures of him, Las Vegas, and the images are all there, but I don't know how massive he was in like the UK, but he feels like a very American thing. So I know obviously know who Elvis is, but it's really interesting to see his life. Obviously done in a creative, stylish way, because it's Baz Luhrmann, who's, what I always think about is Romeo and Juliet,
Of course.
Did he do Moulin Rouge as well?
Yes, I think he did.
He did, didn't he? But, obviously like big sort of like almost like theatre show performance, But the star of that, Austin Butler, who plays Elvis.
I was going to say, was it the story of Elvis you liked the most, Ryan?
I was, fanboying all over Austin Butler. He was fantastic.
You're blushing talking about him.
I'm just getting hot under the collar.
He's a very, very beautiful man.
He is a beautiful man, and he did such a good job with Elvis. Like, he sings all the songs in it, so it's actually his voice. I'll be interested to see, because obviously it's not... When's Oscar season? It's normally sort of like April, February.
Oh, no. It's just that I'm thinking of Super Bowl, sorry. Yeah, I think it is March, April.
It's early in the year, though, isn't it? So it'll be interesting to see when it comes to award season if he does get recognised, because he's fantastic. And, his co-star's Tom Hanks, one of the greatest actors of all time.
Exactly, yeah.
But Austin Butler steals the show, and I feel like it takes a lot to upstage Tom Hanks, you know.
Yeah, I'll be honest, I've missed quite a few of the biopics. I never watched Rocket Man.
Me neither.
And I love Taron Egerton.
Yeah. I missed the Queen one as well. I still not seen that.
I did see that. I loved that. I thought Rami Malek was fantastic. Yeah, so that one was good. And I was like, you know what? I'm loving this biopic stuff that they're coming out with at the moment.
Yeah.
But yeah, I missed Rocket Man, which is a shame because I heard it's not a full biopic. It's like a fantasy film.
Yeah.
It sounds off its tits, and I love that.
Yeah, I feel like it just sort of goes in random directions. They brought out a Bowie one as well.
They did,
and
yeah.
it was what was it called? Was it called like Starman? And it was actually, it's got I know we're going off topic a little bit here, but it's got a folk singer called Johnny Flynn who plays the lead role as Bowie, and I absolutely love Johnny Flynn. He's one of my favourite music artists out there.
Oh wow!
But he's in it's mainly turned to acting now, and he's in loads of stuff. He's like in Emma. He's in The Dig. He's in loads like British stuff, and he plays it. And I was like, oh my god, like this could be amazing. But then they didn't get the rights to the Bowie estate, so they've got no rights to the music or the copyright stuff. So it's just like. And apparently, I'm not seeing it, but all the reviews for it are that it's absolute dog shit.
Which is a shame because it's not, like, you look at that's not their fault. They didn't get the rights. They tried.
They've got absolutely no chance straight away. You imagine doing like a Queen biopic with no Queen music. It just wouldn't be the same. Or,
exactly.
You know. So, but yeah, biopic season sort of took over. Really enjoyed the Elvis one. Austin Butler, he was fantastic. Oscar nomination?
I think so, if you're talking about it this highly, yeah.
Well, you heard it here first into the podcast.
Yeah.
And tip.
If he's out acting Tom Hanks,
yeah, that's it.
I mean, it just means Tom Hanks will get the supporting supporting actor.
Some actors and actresses, they just have to like just turn up, like do a fart on screen, and they get an Oscar nomination.
Exactly. It's like us and Star Wars, isn't it?
Yeah.
All right, just a bit of shit on telly of like, it's Star Wars, I love it.
Really good. Yeah. Speaking of Star Wars, I know, again, we're going off topic a little bit here, but I've recently watched Andor. Have you watched that?
No, I've only seen the first 2 episodes, which is fucking annoying me. Anything Star Wars comes out, I'm all over it.
Right,
I don't know what it is. It's not that I've not at the time, which I'll talk about in a minute because I've watched a lot of films. I keep forgetting.
That's it. We only watched it recently, like over the last couple of weeks, but we like binged it, and I absolutely loved it. Incredible.
I've heard such amazing reviews of it.
Incredible. It's like, I've seen a lot of people say it, and I totally agree that it's Star Wars for adults.
Yes.
It's nothing cheesy. It's like the sort of gritty underside of like the rebellion, like the start of the rebellion, and like, you know, how the Empire almost, you know, this almost like Nazi-esque or like KGB, like Secret Service, like the SS, and they're all like going in and taking over, and it's, you know, like this rebellion trying to fight against them. And, you know, there's no lightsabers, there's no cheesy music, there's no force. It's just like real characters. And it's a bit of a slow burner, don't get me wrong, but totally worth it. I think I absolutely loved it. I thought it was incredible.
And I think this is the thing with something like that is it's okay to be a slow burner. Because I'll be honest with you, I had zero interest. When it come up, like, Rogue One is possibly one of my favourite Star Wars films.
I totally agree. It's one of my favourites.
Don't get me wrong, don't come at me because of the originals.
Yeah.
Just for what it was, from modern Star Wars films, it is outstanding.
Totally
I had zero interest in the backstory of Cassie and Andor.
When it got announced, I was like, not excited about it at all.
Yeah,
especially when you compare it to the announcements of like Obi-Wan Kenobi show and Ahsoka show. And obviously Mandalorian's been massive, so the continuation of that. So Andor was well down the list.
Exactly.
But you need to power through and watch it.
I will.
Obviously, you know, without going massively off topic, but Kenobi wasn't great.
It had its moments.
It had its moments, but overall, it dips and troughs.
The problem with Obi-Wan was it had its moments were that big that it overshadowed a lot of the shit.
Yeah.
So, for example, Darth Vader pulling down the freight carrier.
Unreal scene.
One of the best Star Wars scenes I've ever seen.
Yeah.
It was. It really encapsulated how terrifying
Vader is.
This man is.
Yeah.
When he's walking down, is it in Tatooine? When he's walking down, just ripping people out of houses. It really gave you what this man is capable of.
Absolutely.
But that then is completely taken away from fucking Obi-Wan chasing Leia through a busy.
What a terrible.
What was that?
Yeah, I mean, the whole Leia storyline. I don't get me wrong. The little girl who played Leia, I thought she did a fantastic job.
Great job, yeah.
But the storyline, it was shocking. Why are you bringing that in? It makes no sense. It doesn't fit.
It was a very Disney storyline.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I feel like you've hit the nail on the head there. Yeah. It was poor. But Andor, adult show, thrown into the Star Wars world, a bit like like your Clone Wars and your Rebels. You get to see like the underside of different worlds and different characters. Not everyone's a Jedi.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So that is my. I know I was going to do 60-second recommendation, which I will do later, but
that's a recommendation.
That is definitely. I wanted to say more than 60 seconds on that.
Within the next week, I'll have watched it all.
Nice.
I will have smashed through it. Unfortunately, at the time, the problem is my housemate is a bit of a pain to get down watching TV.
Right.
And whenever he's like, I want to watch this, I'm like, okay, dude, we'll do it together.
Do it together, yeah.
So we did do Obi-Wan and shit, which was weekly. So we made 1 hour a week to watch it together, and like whilst we're having tea. But yeah, it's just when it all come out, we left it all till the end, and now I want to smash through it.
Yeah.
I'm a binger.
Yeah,
and
me too.
I ain't got time for this. Like, dude, are you watching it with me or not? So
yeah.
I will hammer through it. Just quickly talking about like Disney TV shows. And what's your opinions on the Marvel TV shows? So I'm talking about like Charlie Cox's Daredevil. Did you watch that? The Punishers.
So the Netflix ones, I really liked. Like the Daredevil was incredible, so good.
Yeah.
Although saying that, I never finished season 3. Not because of the show not being quality, just one of them that fell by the wayside. The Punisher was a bit slower.
Oh god, I loved it.
But again, like I nothing against it. I just started it and never finished it. But then I watched most of Jessica Jones. I know loads of people loved that.
I loved season 1. Hated season 2.
Yeah, I didn't really get into it. And Luke Cage, I never really got into. So I missed a load and then went back, and then I went back in with Iron Fist, and that was absolute garbage.
I mean, one, they did not do Danny Rand justice.
No.
As a character. Yeah, it was shit. It was terrible. Luke Cage had this thing, I can't remember which way around it is. The two bad guys are Cottonmouth and Diamondback.
Right.
The main bad guy who he like fights at the end, I think that's Diamondback, whatever his name is, was shit. The other guy was better.
Okay.
And I was just kind of like, oh, this takes it away from a bit. The reason I bring it up is because obviously Charlie Cox is carrying on as Daredevil.
Yes.
Which is very good. I have not seen She-Hulk, but
Me
he's in
neither.
that. Now he has come out recently saying, you've had the Daredevil you wanted. That's not what you're getting.
Oh, I see.
There's no gore. We've done that. We're going down a different path.
So disappointing.
It is. Don't get me wrong. I'll give it a go because Charlie Cox was incredible as Daredevil.
Yeah, he was.
I thought he was fantastic. I love like when he shows up in shit now.
He's made a household name for himself, hasn't he? With that role.
But the problem is how amazing Daredevil was. I mean, just himself, that and Punisher, the full scene fight videos where it's one long camera action.
Love that.
Every season
those.
had one. They were outstanding, gory as anything. Obviously, they brought Punisher into Daredevil for the prison storyline.
Yeah, he came in season 2, didn't he?
Yeah, that's right. And it was just outstanding. I'm a little bit disappointed to hear this. You know what? I'm not all about gore. It doesn't have to be that. What you've done is create an absolute monster with these shows.
Yeah.
Like, all right, fair enough, taken away from things like Iron Fist. But you've created a monster with Daredevil and Punisher. And now you're going to take that away and go, let's try a different avenue. I'm down for trying new shit. I just don't see it working. One, because we have a conception of what he is now.
Yes.
If you're going to do that, you've got to go with a different person.
Yeah, and I agree. Yeah, and I just... The only thing that would make me watch it is because it'd be Charlie Cox.
100%, yeah.
So that's the only reason I would tune in to watch a new Daredevil show, is because I'm basically being loyal to Charlie Cox after the show that he put out before.
Yeah.
And if it's not going to be the same, I guess we're just going to have to think of it as a brand new show. Daredevil season 1. It's not going to be Daredevil season 4.
Yeah.
It's a brand new show.
It's got to be what it is.
We just got to enjoy the fact that we'll get some more Charlie Cox screen time.
And again, as we just said, it's going to get the Disney storyline.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, isn't it? So that's a bit of a shame in my head, but we're getting there.
I've been hit and miss with the Marvel ones as well. I've sort of fallen off the Marvel bandwagon a bit. I've not watched
superhero fatigue.
I think that's it.
Yeah.
And I've said it in previous episodes. I think we peaked with Infinity War and Endgame.
Massively.
It was all building up to that, and then as soon as we hit that peak level, the incredible films. It's just been picking up the pieces a little bit since, and we've been hit and miss. Some good, some not so good. Still some great stuff coming out.
Oh, absolutely.
There's just
Spider-Man, Shang-Chi were great. Multiverse was okay.
There's a lot of half-decent stuff, but then there's also a lot of dead weight we're carrying now.
Yeah, and it is a problem when you have delivered. Like, I am happy that I'm going to die of that age where we got Infinity War. We got all of that fucking lead up and storyline to Endgame and Infinity War. That was part of our history.
Oh, absolutely. It's cinematic history.
Massively.
And I'm like grateful that we grew up through that.
Absolutely.
It's peak time. Yeah.
Yeah. We had a lot of the drivel beforehand. We had, the Eric Banner Hulk. We had Edward Norton Hulk. We had a lot of shit beforehand, but it was cinematic history that, as a 30-year-old man going to see these films, just as excited as the 12-year-old boy sat next to me.
Absolutely.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
someone's
totally.
kid, and we are gasping at the same time, and absolutely shocked with fucking, Mjolnir going to
Captain America.
Like,
the
what
whole
the
audience
fuck?
literally just gasped, like, it was unreal. Or then when I first went to watch it, we went to watch it in IMAX, and obviously IMAX there's loads of seats, so it's like hundreds of people there.
You go to one in Sheffield?
Yeah.
I went to that one as well.
And when Spider-Man comes back through the portal, the cinema literally started cheering.
It's mad,
Everyone
isn't
was like, yeah, and started applauding. It was crazy. I've never known anything like it in a cinema screen before. And I think that's the problem. We're on the come down from that now.
Yeah.
And I think that you're right, a little bit like superhero fatigue, because not only are we getting the films, we're getting all the TV shows, and it's just almost relentless at the moment. And it's almost like, it feels like it's hard to keep up with. So I've not watched like Miss Marvel. I've not watched She-Hulk.
I think so. My friend Aaron described this very well. He said to me he quite enjoyed Miss Marvel and She-Hulk. Now, I couldn't stomach them. I gave up on them. But his way of seeing it was, I watched them knowing I wasn't the target demographic. Do you know what I mean? These aren't for me. So that's why I enjoyed them, because they were what they were. They were Marvel TV shows. They're going to be part of whatever the next build is, but they're not for me, and that's okay. And not everything is for me.
Yeah,
and you can kind of forgive that, but for me, it wasn't enjoyable, so I stopped.
Yeah, see, I've not even started them.
Yeah, Miss Marvel was okay. It was a different spin. I quite liked, the culture of Miss Marvel and like the sort of the religion side of stuff that went down. I did quite enjoy that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I just struggled. There was too childish for me, and this is the problem.
That was it, and that's the worry of a lot of things, that it becomes too teeny, which is what I was worried about with Wednesday. That I thought it'd be too teeny, but Wednesday was fantastic.
It was. So I was watching a video the other day of the Wednesday cast reacting to the dance scene.
Well, right,
because that's massive now all over the internet. It's people doing their version of the dance. It's taken over to that Lady Gaga song, whatever it is. And it was them reacting to it, and some of them hadn't seen it before.
Right.
And Jenna Ortega said, I'd choreographed this myself. And the whole way through it, I just felt like a twat, because you can clearly see I don't know how to dance.
Right.
So I just choreographed whatever I thought was what Wednesday Addams would do.
Yeah.
Because, it showed some I saw this other one as well where it had Jenna Ortega's, but then Christina Rich's, and then like the old black and white one of all the little dance scenes together, and how this messed up young girl who is dark and twisted still loves a dance. And I thought, you know what, you did it such good justice.
Oh yeah.
So I thought it was quite cool to hear her say, I choreographed it myself because I can't dance, and that's kind of what we wanted to see.
Yeah.
It's such a banging scene, man.
So good.
So good.
I saw a mashup yesterday, and it was of Tobey Maguire from Spider-Man 3, you know, that he's obviously his dancing.
When he's walking down the street.
What's it called? Like something, it's like Bad Maguire or Bad, I can't remember what it's called.
Whatever it is, yeah.
That, he's always like
when
dancing.
He's had the black suit on.
Yeah, and obviously that has been like mixed into so many different videos and stuff. Yeah. And it was like finally a worthy partner, and it's him doing like a dance off with Wednesday Addams.
Brilliant.
And it was actually really good.
That was such a bad film. We're not going to go there, but what a bad fucking film.
We've just rambled on for like the last, I don't know, 20 minutes about stuff we hadn't even planned.
Good, because we've got nothing else to talk about in this episode.
This is what always happens when we've had a couple of drinks as well. We just sort of ramble
a
through
lot of shit
things
we haven't discussed.
Yeah.
And completely off topic, completely away from film and anything else, because this is a very diverse podcast. You know, we like to bring a bit of everything, bit of music, bit of this, bit of that.
Yeah.
Magic the Gathering. I want to have a little discussion about this.
Yes.
So, Magic the Gathering, for those of you that don't know, that aren't absolute fucking dweebs, is a card game. Pretty much, it's down the lines of your Yu-Gi-Ohs and whatever. And I'll get beaten up by big fucking Wizard of the Coast fans for this. Yeah. But it is basically just a card game that is all about wizards and demons and
it's like
monsters.
A fantasy card game, isn't it? Yeah.
I've never been a massive player, but I got taught how to play it a few years ago, and I bought a load of decks. It is an absolute money spinner. You spend hundreds of pounds on this. And I got massive into it, but had no one to ever play with.
Yeah.
So I bought all these cards, I made some wicked decks, and then I ended up selling them because I just had no one to play with, and I had hundreds of pounds worth of cards and some wicked decks. And I knew a kid who was after some, and he offered me 50 quid for him, and I was just like, I'll just take them, dude. Like, I could do with the cash. You're getting a steal here for the money I've spent, but that's fine. Mentioned it to you because you're a big Dungeons and Dragons fan.
Yeah, I am.
You told me you've never played. So we set up a few episodes ago. We spoke about how we had a nice little piss up together and got in a hot tub and all this.
Yeah.
But beforehand, I turned up with 5 decks of Magic the Gathering cards and said, I'm going to teach you. So there's you, your wife, your friend Kyle, Ed, and myself.
Yep.
Ed's your brother-in-law.
Yeah.
Brother-in-law. Yeah. So I just sat down and taught you how to play, and we had such a fun night.
It was a great night.
And I got knocked out first because you convinced your wife and everyone else to team up against me. And
we've been playing for a few hours because it was a long game. Because obviously there's 5 of us, so it was taking a long time. And you're teaching us how to go, and then you went out for. I
think you went for a smoke.
And so I was the villain here, mainly because we'd had a few drinks. I could barely read the cards.
We had smashed.
We were drinking the White Russian, so I'd barely see anymore. The hot tub was calling me. It's like, right, let's get Sam, because obviously you're the pro as well. Like
I'm not even the pro, but I'm the one who knows how to play.
But compared to our level, you're certainly the pro. So we were like, we have no chance of beating Sam because we barely know the rules. So it was a case of, right, let's just go all in, everyone at Sam, and we knocked you out. But then the good thing of that was it created a domino effect, didn't it? As soon as you went out, another player went straight out because we'd gone all in, and then it knocked us all out. And then we went and celebrated in the hot tub.
Yeah, and then within that, the next day, a Magic the Gathering group chat was made with the 5 of us. What do we do for decks? How do we do this? How do we do that? I know for a fact Kyle had bought a Commander deck. Although I own Commander decks, I've never played Commander, which is just a different way of playing. So I was having lots of discussions of when we can do this game, because it was such a banging night. So I kind of orchestrated a little thing. Your wife messaged me saying she wanted to get you a deck. So I researched what would be good for you, sent it to her, asked her the sort of stuff she likes, researched that, sent you a deck.
Yeah.
Then I also, Ed, the brother-in-law, why don't you look at getting a deck like this for him?
Yeah.
And just made sure everybody had
suddenly,
what they needed.
For Christmas, everyone's now got a Magic the Gathering deck.
Exactly. And then Kyle, who is just out there, he bought a deck, never even played it, and was buying cards to bulk it up.
That's classic Kyle,
though. Classic Kyle, yeah. That's
buying things for
I'm going to buy it and make it the greatest deck ever, and it just got out of hand. So I have not played since then, but because you and I also treated you and Claire to a starter deck.
Yeah,
it cost a tenner.
So generous of you.
Two packs, just play against each other.
Starter packs, just get in and play.
Yeah, exactly. Because Claire was really interested, so I was like, it'd be really good if you two can learn to play and then we can get together. So you and Claire have been smashing it a little bit, haven't you?
We have, yeah.
And also see Ed came over at Christmas. You played with him.
Yeah, so at Boxing Day I was around my family, we were all together. So me and Claire took our decks over and then had a little game with Ed and stuff. Yeah, so it's been nice. Obviously, I could barely remember the rules because I was so drunk.
Yeah.
When you showed me first time, so I was like, I cannot remember everything. I can remember the basics, the very basics, but
tapping mana and
so it's been a case of just learning as we go. So like any like special rule or anything we're not sure of, we've just been Googling it and playing. And I think that's the thing with any game, isn't it? It's just practice. Just put in, just if you're not sure, there's endless ways of finding out now. There's loads of YouTube videos on it. Like we literally watched YouTube videos on how to play Commander.
Yeah.
And then did that. It's like, right, let's just give it a go, see how it works. But it has quickly, since Christmas, become my new obsession.
Yeah.
And I am like obsessed. I'm just constantly, any spare moment I've got, I'm just Googling like new cards for my deck. Like I think the deck you recommended that Claire got me was like a vampire one. So I've got that really cool.
Because you like your dark black
I love
decks.
black, and I love like all the gothic horror themes. Yeah. So that's really like sort of appeals to me. But yeah, we went out shopping yesterday, both bought a brand new deck again. Bear in mind, I've only just got one for Christmas. So I got like a zombie one and Claire got like a witches one. So yeah, it's been good fun.
So do you feel that this is going to take over your life a little bit?
It already has over the last few days, but yeah, I can see why. I can see why people become obsessed with it and why it is. Because even if you don't play, I can see it's like a collectible thing, isn't it? So
definitely.
So you know, I imagine there's so many people out there that have never played it but have thousands of pounds worth of cards because they're collectibles.
Yeah.
You know, the artwork on them's really nice. You know, there's some of the rare ones. But like Pokemon, everyone I knew growing up had Pokemon cards, and I don't know a single person that ever played Pokemon.
I never played Pokemon, and I had fucking hundreds.
Yeah. Who knows how to play Pokemon?
Some people.
Yeah.
I was speaking to someone recently who actually plays Pokemon,
Right.
and I was just like, shit, that must be like an expensive hobby. And she's like, yeah, I've put a lot behind this. And exactly the same as this, a fat pack, which is, it comes with a box, a dice, and 10 booster packs is 40 quid.
Yeah.
You know, it's ridiculous. So
Yeah.
I mean,
These commander packs are sort of, you sort of range in between like 25 to 45 quid.
Yeah, exactly. And it's just a standard deck that you get to play with. I mean, again, this is the nerdiest conversation that we'll have, but I know you're big into your D&D, you're into your Lord of the Rings sort of like models. What do you call that? Is that
so it's like Warhammer, isn't it?
Very much like Warhammer.
Yeah. So I've done that since it came out, since like 2001.
Yeah, wasn't that something you used to do with your dad quite a lot?
Yeah, so I still do it with my dad. A few of my friends, like Ed and Kyle, they're all into it as well. So
that was really nice. Kyle messaged me recently and said, "Are you free tonight?" And I had little, and so I couldn't go. And he goes, "Oh, I'm gonna whip out the figures," and I thought it'd be really nice to get you over and teach you how to play.
Yeah,
I thought it was really sweet of him to think.
We've spoke about that. It'd be nice to like reciprocate. Obviously, you showed us how to do Magic. I know you spoke about you wanted to like try and D&D.
I really want to try.
So
D&D,
we'll have to get a group together and do that. You know, so yeah,
especially when you was talking about some one shot stuff for D&D.
Yeah.
I was like, that worked really well. So I'm not with a bunch of people I don't know because I'd feel a bit awkward. Like,
yeah,
if it's just a few people I do know and you teach, because I am a bit of a dumbass when it comes to, it took me forever to learn the rules of Magic the Gathering. And even now I'm still a bit like you because it changes by your standard rules, your scries and stuff like that.
Yeah.
What the fuck does this mean?
Of course, yeah,
at one point they was bringing energy tokens in and I was like, what the fuck's this? And
yeah,
it all gets a bit crazy, but it's something that I'm so glad that I imparted on you, but just sure as shit for me, I've taught a bunch of people that live miles away from me how to play Magic the Gathering that can play with each other, and I just get really jealous.
I know, yeah. Just been messaging you like, oh, like, because obviously just dead excited, like, oh, look, we've been playing this game, playing that, and then you're probably just sat there thinking, you bastards,
yeah,
I taught you everything you know.
And literally every time you or Claire send me a picture or a message, they're like, oh, we're playing this, I just reply with fucking nerds.
I know, yeah.
I just get jealous, and I don't even want to play.
Well, I brought my decks today, haven't I? So we might get a couple of games in after this
live stream.
After this, before the live
but
stream.
I am so glad that you've got into it, and I'm so glad that you're going to be skint.
This is the thing, I am very grateful for you introducing me, but also I'm going to spend so much money already. I can see, because I get quite obsessive with things when I do stuff. So I'll be all in.
So where do you think you're going to go with the game? So the idea of Magic the Gathering is there are 5 different colours.
Yes.
You've got red, which is quite a quick fireball type. Get in there, knock down as many points as possible. Green, which is mine. I love a green. Big monsters, get them out as quick as possible and just destroy everyone.
Yep.
Black, which is quite dark and, like you say, quite gothic-y, where you're bringing things, you're sacrificing stuff, but bringing it back from the dead.
Yeah.
White, which is all like a lot of angels and flying creatures. And blue, which I still don't understand blue. I think it's shit. Personally, I think it's wank. But it's like a lot of sea creatures and stuff like that.
Right, yeah.
So you've gone straight in with black, which I understand.
Yeah.
The first deck I ever bought was green, and it was an amazing deck. I bought it off eBay. It was a custom built one that I bought off someone.
Nice.
And it was incredible. It won everything. It was so good. And that's what kept me with green, and I stay with that. You've gone black. Do you think now your obsession, you're going to try the different colours?
I'll probably try the different colours, yeah. So I've got a black red one and a black blue. But then when I played yesterday with Claire, she had a green white, and it just absolutely nuked my deck straight away.
Certain colours just don't fit well with each other.
Yeah.
A good example of that is with, for example, my green. I never normally have flying or anything like that. So if I play against a white deck that is just full of
flying,
Pegasuses and angels, I'm fucked because I can't defend myself from flying creatures.
Yeah.
And no matter what I've got on my desk, I've just got to hope that you defend, else I'm fucked.
Yes.
So certain things don't work against certain stuff, but it's just fun. Like, I've never been good at deck building. I've built all the decks we've played with so far. I've built myself, but they're not amazing.
Right.
There's always something to learn. And that's what I love about this. Is learning how to build a better deck, learning how certain cards work with each other, you know.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
So Magic the Gathering, if you don't know it or you don't follow it that much, there is a yearly Grand Prix. And like the prize is $1 million. Like, it's huge.
That's crazy.
I love watching the Grand Prix.
Right.
There's so much, but we're talking.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. So there's certain decks that people use, and it's just ridiculous because people play it so quick. You know, when you watch them quick games of chess, bang, 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 done.
Yeah.
They're doing that. They're whipping these cards down, and everyone just knows what card needs to come next to to activate this ability and this ability and this ability, which
crazy,
is going to kill you.
It's next level.
And a game can last 4 turns. Bum, 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 done. They're shaking hands and fucking off.
Yeah.
And half the time, I'm watching the Grand Prix going, what just happened?
Yeah,
a card comes out with 2 paragraphs full of writing that I'm trying to read. What does that do? What's this card do? Boom,
Yeah, and they're already like
game's over.
They're 2 turns ahead. And it's game over. It's like, what?
It's very much like chess in that aspect.
It is, yeah. I can totally see why. Like, very tactical. It's so much fun though. Like I said, I've only been playing it like literally like a week.
Yeah.
But it's just good fun because, like I said, if there's just 2 of you, like we could like me and Claire just been smashing it at home. But then if there's a big group of us, we could all play. And I like that. Like, I like the social side of it as well.
Yeah,
like,
of course. Because I've only ever played 1-on-1. You see,
right?
So I taught my housemate how to play. So we have a few games occasionally after a few beers, and it's always 1-on-1. But he's always 1,000 steps behind me because he's only just learned.
Yes.
And the problem with him is he understands it to a certain point where he can get a decent handout on the table. But the dude has never, ever, ever in the history of playing Magic remembered to attack. So he has loads of and he just doesn't attack me. And then one by one I pick, and I'm like, Josh, attack me. He's like, I'm just going to wait.
Yeah,
and then one by one I pick everything off and destroy him. So I'm like, it's not saying I'm good, but it's not a challenge.
Yes, yeah, I get that.
So it'd be good to play with people when you guys, because you'll be ahead of me in seconds. Because you're really sort of putting time and effort into this, and then before I know it, I'll be getting smashed.
I don't know. I don't know. Like I think a lot of it is just because it's the beauty of the game is it can just be. Obviously, plenty of Magic players will call me out on this, but a lot of it seems fairly randomized because obviously you've got your deck, so a lot of it depends on what cards come out at the right time. So, like Claire and I played a game last night. She got a card out, it was an angel, and I've got a zombie deck, and it was literally destroy all zombies. So suddenly, my whole deck is just destroyed, and then she just killed me like straight away. Game over. But then the next game we played, that angel card didn't come out, and I slowly whittled her down, and then I won that game. So it's got that replayability. So there's endless different outcomes you can have, even with the same decks.
So anyone that does listen to this and is a fan of the game, we are absolute noobs. We're very new to it. You know, even me, who has kind of been playing for a few years, I'm very amateur. I still don't overly get it because I've never had the opportunity to push myself. But it's just good fun.
Yeah.
And no doubt you're going to see loads of pictures and videos of us playing it.
Yeah.
So enjoy that. And if you are into it, get in contact. Let us know what you play. Like, give us some tips we could do with the tips.
Yeah, I was literally about to say that. Like, if anyone wants to play, like, just hit us up because we want to play, we want to learn, we want to get better, we want to try new things, and it's a great social event. You know, we have a couple of drinks. Like, you know, I've seen in a few places like that, and you said like Friday night magic is a big thing apparently. Like loads of like pubs or cafes or whatever, they do events, and I love that idea of going to a pub or whatever, like a gaming bar or whatever, a few beers, a few games of Magic. I love that social side of it as well.
Definitely. Outstanding. Right, so those that weren't interested in that, sorry, but we don't care because we're having a fucking good time.
As soon as we finish this podcast, we're going to be playing Magic.
Exactly. So we don't give a shit.
So in the build up to that, we're going to talk about Magic to get us in the mood for it.
We're going to live stream it on the page just to really piss people off. So I gave you the big task of bringing snack of the week this week.
You did.
Because I normally just pick it up every time I go shopping. I go find something. And I'm like, I've got it. Pound stretcher every time. But I've not needed batteries this week, so I've not been into pound stretcher. So I completely forgot, and you brought some stuff. So, as we forgot to do last week, sponsored by our good friend Drew Flanagan Music.
Absolutely.
Who has been sending us more music, which is fantastic. Still working on this live EP going up on Spotify soon. Please give him a like. Please give him a follow. We're sharing some stuff on our page as well. So here is Snack of the Week, sponsored by Drew Flanagan Music.
Here come Sam and Ryan, listen to them both speak. They've come 2 hours on with their pop culture critique. But are you even a nerd if you don't overread? So come on everybody, it's the Snack of the Week.
What a beautiful, beautiful man.
I never get tired of listening to that.
No, I don't either.
I absolutely love it.
It's so good. He's such a good boy.
He just lives in my head rent free all the time.
I'll never get tired of the joke that we've just heard that when we haven't. That we literally just give a 2-second pause. That's going to happen every week. So what have you brought for us, big boy?
Right. So this week I've gone. It's not that exciting because a lot of the time we'll go for weird and wonderful and new different things, but very, very hit and miss.
Oh, massively, yeah.
So this week I've gone for an absolute solid snack. My favourite chocolate of all time.
Talk to me.
I've gone for a twirl.
Ryan.
Go on.
Twirls are the greatest chocolate bars.
Thank you.
On earth.
See,
on
yes,
earth.
They are unreal.
They do battle the top spot with, for me, Whisper Gold.
Oh, I do like a Whisper Gold, yeah.
But they win. And I love a Whisper Gold, but they do win.
Yeah.
For me, top 3, telling you now, Whisper Gold, Bueno.
Oh, nice.
Love a Bueno. Or a Happy Hippo. They're on the same level.
Yeah, okay.
And then Twirl at the top.
Yeah.
You know what? Enjoy the orange ones and shit, but just give me a twirl.
Just give me a twirl.
Don't fuck about with orange and stuff. It's fine, but that's not what I'm here
just
for.
A standard twirl. You can't beat it. And we were talking earlier with Joe and Hugh when they were round.
Yeah,
about a flake. Yeah. Flakes are great, but they're crumbly.
Very crumbly.
They get everywhere. A twirl, because it's got that solid outer layer.
Yeah. And I wouldn't trust Joe eating a flake. I've seen that girl eat crisps, and she somehow manages to get them everywhere.
Well, if you're
asking for because I know she doesn't listen to this podcast. So.
Exactly. But if you're asking for a plate to eat crisps, there's something wrong.
Something wrong with your life. Well, bearing in mind we're saying this, they don't listen to the podcast, we have already planned an episode for Joe, which is going to be really funny, and then Hugh, because Hugh's big into beer, gaming stuff. Joe is into none of that, but she's quite funny.
Yeah, So we've got to incorporate them into it somehow.
We'll get them in at some point. So I'm a big fan of what you've done here, because you've gone, all right, nice, you're bringing random shit. But actually, Snack of the Week isn't about new and wonderful and weird. It's about, do you want a snack? Yeah, what do you love?
Yeah.
Let's enjoy something we love.
Let's enjoy. So I brought a twirl. Staple chocolate.
2 fingers.
2 fingers.
None of this fucking snack bollocks.
Yeah.
Let's go into this twirl. Oh, you can't beat it, can you?
I mean, it's just quality. It's just quality chocolate.
It says Cocoa Life on it. I don't know what that means, but it's
no idea.
Oh,
I don't read the packet.
I'm quite happy.
I know what I'm getting.
Normally, after a mouthful, I'm like, right, let's move on. No one wants to hear us eat. I'm not stopping until this is done.
Exactly. Because it's not new as well. We've both had God knows how many twirls we've had in our time.
God,
but we know what we're getting, so we don't have to analyse it.
No.
All the listeners have eaten a twirl before.
Of course we have. If you haven't eaten a twirl before, let us know.
Yeah,
because there's something wrong with you.
Absolutely.
And I get it, unless you're like vegan or something.
No one's born vegan, were they?
Well, yeah, true.
Someone's had a twirl growing up.
Do you think you get vegan twirls and stuff?
There'll probably be some sort of knockoff, maybe.
So our friend Kyle, who mentioned quite a lot, is a vegan.
He is.
And he's pretty banging at finding vegan substitutes, isn't he?
He is, yeah.
So Kyle, if you listen to this, tell us what the best vegan chocolate is. and we'll give that a go.
And how does it rank against a twirl?
Yeah, well, we know where it ranks below.
Obviously, everything's below.
But this is the man that gave me the only vegan cheese that I was like, shit, this is amazing.
So yeah, I'll be interested in that. Yeah, a vegan twirl equivalent.
Well, that was incredible.
Yeah, I've just smashed it all. It's just gone.
Did you only bring 2?
Yeah, sorry.
You prick. Why don't you buy a multi-pack?
I have got some multi-packs at home as well, because I got bought them for Christmas.
But no, you didn't want to share them with your boy, did you?
I just want to eat them when I get home.
What a prick. All the time I bring you all the best foods.
Yeah, I brought you one.
But you have more at home. You can't just eat one twirl.
That was so good. I enjoyed that
Tell
a
me
lot.
that's true. You can't just eat one twirl.
No,
Because
you can't.
I'm going to be thinking about twirls now until I go to bed tonight.
Yeah.
And it's going to be a long night.
I reckon
'cause
we
we've
can
got a
get
lot
some
to do.
delivered on like Just Eat or something.
Oh, easy, yeah. we'll order some with the pizzas we get after this.
Yeah. Got some twirls with
You
that,
get
please.
twirls from the shop next door. We'll give you an extra £5.
Yeah. Why not?
Right, snack of the week. You know how we really enjoyed just listening to Snack of the Week jingle then?
Yes.
Should we have another jingle?
Well, you know what? We've not had enough jingles recently.
You know, we really haven't. We had one last week. So, yeah, I think we should have another jingle.
Shall we?
Yeah, so Drew Flanagan Music, who is obviously a big fan of the jingle and a big fan of the podcast, he's also a big fan of getting a recommendation for something in 60 seconds.
Yeah. Just fast.
Fast,
just in there.
boom. He said to me, he says, when I get a recommendation from someone, I stop listening after 60 seconds.
I've heard that by a lot of people.
Yeah, so we just went, you know what then, mate? This is for you, right as a jingle. So here is 60-second recommendation by Drew Flanagan Music.
60-second recommendations into the pod shortest presentation. Music, film, even cereal. 60 seconds recommending. Listen close, it's not never ending. Time is short.
Oh, God, what a song. What a banging song. Oh, God, I love listening to that.
Do you prefer that or the Snack of the Week jingle?
It's hard. Snack of the Week's the original.
It is
It's
the
OG,
OG,
innit?
It is.
So I'm not saying either's better, but Snack of the Week's OG for me. And
Yeah.
that was stuck. Although this has been stuck in my head, Snack of the Week was stuck in my head for weeks.
Yeah.
Housemate's going out. Bye, Josh.
Bye.
Bye. Don't know where he's going, but I'm sure he's going to go out and be an absolute deviant somewhere. Yeah. He had that look in his eye.
Nod.
Yeah, he had that look in his eye as he walked past, bless him. So, 60-second recommendation. I am going to get the stopwatch up.
I'm a little bit nervous about doing this one,
I know, you said this to me.
purely because it deserves so much more than 60 seconds.
Give it an intro. Because I feel you need to say this before you do it.
So I've watched recently, I have seen it before, but I rewatched it last week. An absolute classic of cinema, like cinema history we're talking here. It is a film from 1956, Japanese film, The Seven Samurai. And yeah, I wanted to recommend it because we've not planned to talk about this for in any feature, but I wanted to get it in because
That's fine.
not many people have seen it, but everyone bloody should.
Yeah, so it might be something we talk about in the future.
Yes.
But whereas 60 seconds doesn't give it justice, you wanted to just be like, look, I have watched this, guys. Although we might discuss it in the future, give it a watch.
Give it a
which
watch.
I think is fair enough.
Absolutely.
So
So you're going to give me my 60
I'm
seconds?
going to give you 60 seconds and we are starting now.
Okay, so Seven Samurai, like I said, it's a 1956 black and white Japanese film, and it is set in sort of like feudal Japan, and it is almost like the original action film. There's probably some before that, but that's like the most famous one. And the story is that seven samurai that get grouped together, a ragtag group of seven samurai, to defend a village against a horde of 40 bandits.
Okay.
It is like the original action story that has been replicated
Millions
countless
of times,
times
yeah.
since. Like, it is literally the Magnificent Seven. They ripped this film off, and it still holds up today. I watched it recently. It is a long film. It's 3.5 hours, but you really get to know the characters. The action still holds up well. It is like the original, like, slow motion action. There's so many film techniques in it that started there. It's incredible. Deserves so much more than 60 seconds, but The Seven Samurai, go watch it.
Banging. That was just under a minute. Well done.
That was hard, mate. I could have done a whole episode on that.
Oh, easy. Yeah. And we totally get that. So as a recommendation, where did you watch this?
I watched it on Prime, but it's not directly on Prime. So I set up a subscription with BFI, so the British Film Institute.
Yeah.
So they, like a lot of things, you can get that through Prime. So I got a free trial, I think like a week free trial with it. And it's got me access to loads of classic films. It's actually incredible. So many films on there that I've clocked already. And then I think it's a $5 a month after that. So that's where I got it. But you could probably pick it up on DVD for like a couple of quid.
Yeah,
It is probably quite easy to get hold of. Have you seen it?
I have not.
No.
Well, I'm going to on your recommendation.
Yeah. Like I said, it's a long film, 3.5 hours. But
you've got to be in the mood for that. You've got to be.
You've got to commit
this
yourself.
This is what I'm doing tonight, yeah. And you've really got to be in the headspace of, I'm going to sit and watch a 3.5 hour film.
Absolutely.
Social media's away. We're all slaves to our phones. Put it away. Get some food and just fucking chill.
Yeah. And like I said, say it's 1956, so it's an old film.
Yeah.
But it still holds up now, and you can see how that gave birth to so many like iconic characters, like way films are made. It's literally like, it's just unbelievable cinema history. Like I said,
I'll give it a go then. From the greatest action film of all time to the greatest action star of all time.
Yes.
We want to have a little bit of chat about Nicolas Cage.
That is the
Sir Nicolas Cage. Is it Sir or Lord? I can't remember which one he is now. God, Nicolas Cage. So we're both fans of Nicolas Cage. Excuse me, I have a candle under my telly.
Oh, it's unreal.
I will put a picture up of it this week. I have a candle of Nicolas Cage in a sort of Catholic sort of, praying situation. It looks
he looks like
banging.
A saint, doesn't he, or something?
Does.
Yeah.
So I've got that and a Danny DeVito one that I'll share. So we're big fans of the Nicolas Cage. I also have a t-shirt upstairs of Nicolas Cage spread out naked in a banana peel.
Unbelievable.
Because that's exactly what you want of Nicolas Cage.
Yes.
And the reason we're going to talk about this is we finally got around to watching The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent.
Oh, yeah. I've been excited for it for a while.
As soon as this was sort of mentioned, so Nicolas Cage is known for doing every film that's ever been. This dude will take a film on, if he's playing a banana peel on the floor or a crisp packet. I'll do it. I'll do a good job of it.
Yeah.
He does such fucking weird and wonderful and wacky films, but he's done such amazing films.
He's done a lot of amazing films, but he's also done a lot of shit. And then it was brought out like things like, Nicolas Cage is going to play Joe Exotic in the new Tiger King film and all this sort of shit. Mm-hmm. Around about the same time, we heard that Nicolas Cage is going to play a film about Nicolas Cage, who talks to Nicolas Cage. Yes.
His old characters and, what the fuck is this? I am down for this. Then it got better. That I found out Pedro Pascal was going to be in it.
Yeah, incredible.
And I've just been waiting. Again, this is a film that I would have watched by now, but I promised the housemate would watch it together. So this was Christmas Day film.
Really?
I watched this and Glass Onion.
Unbelievable.
On Christmas Day. So The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent. Do you want to give it a quick synopsis? Do you want me to do it?
I don't mind.
I'll tell you what, I'll give it a quickie, and anything I miss, sort of just jump in.
Sure.
So Nicolas Cage is still dotting about doing some bullshit films. He wants to become serious, so he's gone for the serious role, but he doesn't get taken on it. So he's decided his family's breaking down. His family aren't interested because all he does is work. So he's decided, one last gig, and I'm fucking done. I'm giving up on this shit. But the gig, who comes from his agent, who is played by David Spade.
Not David Spade.
Not fucking David Spade, dickhead.
It's oh my days, it's Barney from How I Met Your Mother.
I always get them two fucking out, and I hate David Spade, so I'm really pissed off I said that.
Oh, I can't believe you said David Spade. Yeah, I'm a big fan of him.
What's his name?
Oh, it's going to annoy me that. I'll have to Google it.
Google it.
Give me a second.
Google it. So this last gig that he gets from him is it $5 million?
It's $1 million.
Oh, $1 million.
To turn up to a birthday party.
Just a birthday party on an island for some rich arsehole.
Neil Patrick Harris.
Patrick Harris. Fuck it. As soon as you looked at me, I was like, he's known as like Hollywood's greatest dad as well, isn't he? Like, he's such a fucking legend. So he owes about 500 grand to some people.
Like debts, yeah.
And he's like, I just want to pay it off, get a bit more money, then I'm done. So he's like, you know what? Fuck this shit. I'm going to go and do this birthday party.
Yep.
Turns up on the island where he is met by
Pedro Pascal.
Javi takes him. There's a brilliant opening scene between them two where Neil Patrick Harris gets it in his head that, well, he might want you to suck him off or blow him off or something. So he asks the driver of the boat, like, Javi isn't going to make me like wank him off or watch him shag his wife or make me shag his wife. And the whole time it is him.
Yeah.
It's just really good. So that's pretty much the story. The FBI are following Javi because he's a well-known drug lord, and they have taken a political
the president. I think it's like the president's daughter, Catalonia's daughter, has been kidnapped. I think that's the opening scene.
Yeah,
she's like in an apartment with a boyfriend,
watching
Con Air, and then like kidnappers come in and steal her away,
so
and then
they think it's the drug lord.
They think it's Javi who has hired Nicolas Cage to come to be a special guest appearance at his birthday because Javi is the ultimate Nicolas Cage fan. He's a proper nerd.
Wants him to take on a screenplay that he's wrote.
Yes.
And the FBI basically get hold of Nicolas Cage and say, you work for us.
Yeah.
You're going to go undercover and do this. It sounds ridiculous.
It is ridiculous.
It is just as ridiculous as you think. And let me tell you now, from a film that is this ridiculous, Pedro Pascal is outstanding in this film.
He is so good at it. He
starts off playing this fucking groupie, this nervous groupie.
It's like me at Comic-Con.
Yeah, so well. And he's like, he doesn't dare talk to him, but he's a big drug lord, but he has anxieties around. He's like, no, I can't be there when you read my screenplay because I've got anxieties. And there's this amazing scene where they finally become friends and they're talking about film and they're talking about classic film and why he got into it, and they're talking about some of the greatest cinema history that's ever gone, and it all builds up to this one moment where the music stops and Nicolas Cage says, so Javi, answer my question, what is your third favourite film? And he goes, Paddington 2.
Paddington 2.
Which is an absolute go-to in this house because my daughter is obsessed.
I've not seen it, but I really want to now after watching this.
And then Nicolas Cage is like, what the fuck? Cuts. He's watching Paddington 2 crying.
Yeah.
Just like, what a piece, what a masterpiece.
It's so crazy.
What did you think to this film?
So I was very excited beforehand, because I like I said, I'm a big Nicolas Cage fan. I love the idea of this film. It's totally ridiculous.
Because he keeps getting flashbacks where when he's pissed up, he talks to a younger Nicolas
version
Cage.
of himself.
Is that from Wild Heart or
something like that? I'm not exactly sure which specific Nicolas Cage it is.
Yeah, I'm sure it's Wild Heart or something like that. But it keeps going back to him and this younger Nicolas Cage, and they've done a really bad version of like age reconstruction and all that shit.
Him,
the aging, it's just really bad. There's a scene where Nicolas Cage makes out with Nicolas Cage. And
it's just stupid. It's a stupid film, and obviously, going into this film, I knew it was going to be ridiculous.
Yeah, you're
watching a film, a Nicolas Cage film, where he's playing himself, and it's just littered with Nicolas Cage references to all his films over the years, but everyone else, all the other actors, are not playing characters. I absolutely loved it.
Me too.
It was so good. It was so funny. It was so ridiculous. Pedro Pascal, as you've said, he was fantastic.
In some ways, a bullshit film.
In some ways, he was the star of the show because I just he just played it so well. This like nervous groupie who's like the head of this crime family, and he was just so believable. He was just cute, wasn't he? He was like, I just loved him.
You really start feeling for him,
yeah.
Even though you're like, he's the bad guy. There's this really amazing scene where they drop acid. Because they're going to go and talk. So this is the point where Nicolas Cage knows it is what it is, and this is what I've got to do, and I've got to try and get him admit to it. So he's like, let's go talk about the screenplay. We're going to go do the screenplay. I've agreed to take it on. I want to stay longer. So they drop acid.
Yes.
And there's this amazing scene where they're both like really worried because two old men on a bench are staring at them, and they think it's like the FBI.
Yeah.
And they run away, and there's this dramatic scene where they're trying to get over a wall. And it's like such slapstick humour.
Yeah.
but I laughed out loud.
I was crying with laughter because it works so well because obviously they're just off their head on acid. It's just a ridiculous scene. I think that scene's pretty much shown in the trailer, to be fair.
Yeah.
But it was so funny. I love the fact as well when they finally get around the wall and then they see two people that aren't the same two people, but they look almost exactly the same, like a guy with like long ginger hair and like an old bald guy. So it's like, oh my God, they're there. Like, and even in my head, I had to do a double take, and I wasn't on acid. Like, you can totally see why they'd be freaking out. It was
so good. As I mentioned to you earlier, we had a little bit of a chat about it. I absolutely love that for a good 60 to 70% of the film, before they become boys, before they become real friends, Javi refers to Nick Cage as Nicolas Cage.
Or never, Mr. Cage.
Yeah, it's never Cage. It's always Nick Cage, Nicolas Cage, Mr.
Nicolas
Cage. And I just love that.
Yeah.
And then it eventually becomes Nick.
Like Nick. Yeah.
It's just so fucking good. Like, standout moments for you.
I mean, I love the acid scene that we've talked about. That whole scene, not just the wall bit, but like when they're in the car driving and then they've got to run away and then they drive back. I love the bit as well where, quite near the start, where he first gets to Mallorca, where it's set, and he's not fussed, is he? He's really can't be bothered. He's not bothered about Javi, and Javi takes him to the cliffs, and then he gets
so funny,
and he gets him to like pretend, because Nicolas Cage he's on a right downer. He's going to retire from acting. You know, like you said, his family's falling apart, so he's in a bit of a miserable place. And then Javi like starts like play acting, like, oh no, like
really badly as well.
The president's men, not the president's men, or like whoever, like they're after us. The general,
the general, that's
the
it.
General, the general, his men, they'll be over the ridge soon. Like Nicolas Cage, like,
what are you doing?
He's like, I've not got time for this. He's like, no, like you can't retire from acting. It'll be such a shame. And it's just so stupid. And then Nicolas Cage, like, right, he's like, sod it, like, let's just commit to this. And then he's like, we've got to get out of here. Like, and then they both just run in a slow motion shot of them running and jumping off the cliff into the water. And then
shitting themselves because he didn't realise it was a cliff.
Like, oh my God, it's a cliff. Like, it's so high up. Like, just stupid moments like that were fantastic. You know, I love the bit where they go into his room where all the memorabilia is in there.
That was a standout moment for me. So it's just after the acid scene.
Yeah.
Pedro Pascal's passed out and he's in the car, and Nicolas Cage sees this door that he knows is going to be the lair.
He thinks it's the lair of where the daughter's being kidnapped.
So he tries to break in, and then Pedro Pascal comes up behind him and is like, what are you doing, Nick? What are you doing? And it's like, you got to show me inside, Heavy. You got to show me. And it's like,
it'll also change our friendship.
It'll change our friendship. But when you see what's inside it, you'll never think of me the same. You do not do this. Do not do this, Mr. Cage. Do not do this. Do not make me show you. And it makes him go in, and it's just a shrine to Nicolas Cage.
Yeah, and I obviously, like, I know we're going to talk about Nicolas Cage films in a bit, but like, there's so many references to so many films, and I couldn't pick up on every single one because I've not seen every single Nick Cage film, but there's so many in there. And then when they go to the statue of Nick from Face Off, isn't it? With the two golden guns. And it's this horrific statue that, like, a waxwork that doesn't looks like almost like a melted Nicolas Cage. And even he's there, isn't he? Nick Cage, he's there. He's like, oh my God, this is grotesque. He's like, how much did you pay for this? He's like, oh, $6,000. Like, I'll give you 20,000 for it. It's not for sale, Mr. Cage. It's just so stupid. It's just ridiculous.
Yeah, and everything, and the plot twist at the end. And I really like how, as they're slowly coming around, Nicolas Cage is obviously trying to do work for the FBI.
Yeah,
there's lots of silly slapstick bits in there. But as they're doing it, Nicolas Cage's reason for staying is, oh, I want to work on the screenplay. And as they're writing this screenplay is what's happening in the film.
Exactly, yeah.
So when it's like, oh, we should add, just to try and get there and try rile them up, they're like, we should add this action scene.
Yeah.
Even though it's a film about two people that become friends, that's just happened, then the action scene happens, and then it all breaks down to that last scene where it's fucking Javi versus Nick Cage, and they're still talking about the screenplay. Let's go and finish this screenplay.
Yeah,
let's go write the ending together.
It's quite clever, actually.
Really clever.
The way they've done it, they're sort of saying, like, oh, let's add a kidnapping scene into the screenplay. It's like, oh no, that wouldn't work, but it'll make it appeal to a wider audience. So they're clearly just just like taking the piss out of themselves. So it is quite clever. It's well done. You don't have to be a Nicolas Cage fan to watch the film.
I don't think so.
But
because you know who he is, even if you're not a fan.
Yeah, exactly. And it's just a silly film that's a lot of fun, a bit of light-hearted action. But if you are a Nick Cage fan, you are going to get so much from this film.
Definitely. I couldn't agree more. It's just fun comedy with decent acting, great character. And like I say, when Neil Patrick Harris turned up, I was like, yes, bitch.
Yeah.
He's great. Yeah, and just the acting from Pedro Pascal himself is incredible.
It's incredible.
Their bond is brilliant.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just such a fun, great film. And rewatchability is massive.
I was literally about to say that. It's something I would happily stick on again.
Yeah.
Not, something you can dip in and out of, but have fun with it.
Yeah, definitely. So on that, let's have a look at the time. We're getting there. We thought we would end with our top 5 Nick Cage films. We normally do top 5 quite early on.
Yep.
But we thought we'd save it till after our little chat about Nick Cage and just have a quick 10 minutes chatting about what we love from Nicolas Cage. And there is a backlog of films
there is
for this.
So many films to talk about.
Yeah, I mean, so the last film before this that I watched of Nicolas Cage that hasn't made it was Willy's Wonderland.
Something like that,
where he gets a job as a night caretaker.
I
in
really
like
want to watch this film.
Chuck E. Cheese.
I think Rich at work has spoke to me about it a few times.
It's like a Five Nights at Freddy's
Willy's
type
Wonderland.
deal. Willy's Wonderland, a Five Nights at Freddy's type deal. He doesn't talk the whole way through the film. It's fucking brilliant.
Yeah.
For what it is, it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's budget B film, but it's brilliant. It's Nicolas Cage doing what Nicolas Cage does when he's got nothing better to do. Yeah. That's what it is. So, Nick Cage films. I'm going to start if that's okay.
That's absolutely fine.
Solely because, again, these are not ranked, but this is up there with one of my favourite Nick Cage films of all time. I'm going Mandy.
I've not seen Mandy, actually.
Yeah, Mandy, for me, is this dark B horror about a cult.
Oh, your favourite straight away, ticking a lot of boxes for you.
You know how I feel about a cult. So it's just weird as shit. So Nicolas Cage is in love with his wife in this cabin in the middle of nowhere, and this cult come and take his wife. It has one of the most iconic Nicolas Cage scenes ever of him wearing a Tiger t-shirt in just his pants, drinking a bottle of whiskey in a toilet and just screaming for about 4 minutes.
Incredible.
It's ridiculous. It's fun. It's dark. It's eerie. The amount of gore and blood used in this film, you've probably seen the stills of Nicolas Cage covered head to toe in blood and gore. That comes from the film Mandy.
Right.
I highly, highly, highly recommend you watch Mandy. Again, don't go in there expecting the best performance from everyone you've ever seen, because it is a bit ridiculous. It's a small budget, but it's just outstanding. Like, we say Nicolas Cage has range. Let's be honest, Nicolas Cage has range.
He has massive range.
And this, again, all right, we're looking at the screaming scene where it's just Nicolas. The statement, he's gone full Nicolas Cage.
Yes.
He goes full Nicolas Cage in this film. So that's number one for me. If you've not seen Mandy, it's not one that everyone goes for. Because kind of slipped under the radar a little bit, but the year it came out, what year? You've got it in front of you.
I've got it's 2018.
2018. I used to buy film magazines, so I was doing the old podcast, Sorry with My Seat. So I had a subscription with film magazines, and this was rated as one of the best underrated films of the year.
Okay, nice.
So...
Yeah, very nice. I definitely want to watch it. And I think this is the thing with Nicolas Cage films, right? There are so many out there that... Obviously, there's the classics, and not all of the classics have made my list, even though they have earned the right to be on there. They're just perhaps, there's, like you said, there's so many that are out there that slip under the radar because a lot of them are B movies or whatever, that everyone's going to have their own personal favourites with Nicolas Cage. And that's why I like it, because, you've touched on so many points there. Like, he has insane range. Yeah. Like, The good, the bad, the ugly, just on acid, is what you're going to get with Nicolas Cage films, and it's got more and more weird, I think, as the years have gone on, because he seemed to definitely be like the man of the 90s, wasn't he? Like that's peak Nicolas Cage in terms of his success, like iconic films that appeal to everyone, like more your mainstream, that they've got more and more ridiculous as the years have gone on.
Because doesn't Nicolas Cage, I'm sure it's Nicolas Cage who owned a home in like, I can't remember, it's like the Peak Districts or somewhere like that.
Right.
And basically he called that his home, and he lived in this, it's not Peak, it's somewhere like that. All there was around him was this little local pub that used to go and drink pints of like bitter in.
Okay.
And then he would go to Las Vegas and live the Nick Cage lifestyle. And then he'd come home when he wanted to rest and come back to this little village.
I can totally believe it.
And you're just like, fucking yes, dude.
I can just believe it because he's just such an eccentric guy.
Yeah, massively. So go on then, what have you stuck down as your first?
Again, they're not in order, although my number one is my number one, so I will end on my number one, I think.
Oh, you're going to save that till the end.
We'll save that till last, shall I?
Yeah.
So you've gone for one that slipped under the radar. I've gone for one, again, it's probably slipped under the radar. It's Season of the Witch.
Never seen it.
So it's a B movie. Fantasy horror film. He plays a Crusader Knight.
Yeah.
Him and Ron Perlman are two Crusader Knight.
You don't expect them in a film together, do you?
No. Like the opening scenes is them like in the Holy Land or whatever, fighting like the Crusades, and they become like there's this sort of like it's a B movie, right? So take everything with a pinch of salt. They've obviously not got a massive budget, but they work with what they've got.
Yeah.
So these are like these grizzled old veterans. It's like like a montage of them fighting through loads of battles and stuff, and they always survive, and they've got each other's backs. And then I think they finally break into one siege and they kill loads of people. It's all smoky, and then he looks down and actually it's loads of like innocent women. But like in the confusion of the battle, like he's just like killed this innocent woman.
Yeah,
and then like haunts him. And then from that point on, he's like, fuck this, I'm done. Like I'm just a extremist for Christianity.
Right, okay.
I'm done, I'm out of here. And him and Ron Perlman, they're like, no, we've had enough of this. And they leave and return to like Europe. And there's like a plague that's affecting the land. I think Christopher Lee's in it, and like a random cameo. And they found like a witch who's like so apparently she's like causing all the decay in the land and stuff. And he basically gets tasked with a couple of others of escorting this witch to this monastery where they're going to exorcise this witch. And it's not a great film, but I love it because I love fantasy. I love horror. It's got all the elements that I would like. And it's actually not a bad film if you take everything with a pinch of salt. I'm sure Robert Sheehan is in it as well.
Oh, really? Oh, God, I love him.
I love him as well. So, like, it's got an insane cast, really. It's one of them that's, again, slips under the radar. 2011 film. It's got some, Stephen Graham's in it.
I was with a bunch of the lads last night. So actually a lot of the Utopia Project lads were there last night.
Right.
And we was talking about Stephen Graham and just how diverse he is.
He's insane. He's an insane actor.
He is. And how he has... So someone said he's underrated. And I said, I'm not sure if I agree with that because he gets some big roles. But he's underrated in the aspect of he's always a bit part.
Yes, he is.
So he gets his roles, normally in British films. But he gets in Scorsese films and stuff like that as bit parts, and he does them so well.
Yeah. He's got another actor with massive range, can do everything.
We'll do an episode on Stephen Graham because
love that.
That's not something that you come across every day. Someone talking about him. But what a fucking hero.
But yeah, so suddenly you're talking like in this ragtag group, you've got Stephen Graham, Robert Sheehan, Ron Perlman, Nicolas Cage that got to escort this witch.
Just that cast alone makes you want to watch it.
I would definitely recommend it. It's one I've seen quite a few times. Don't expect anything incredible. But just enjoy it for what it is.
That's what it is with Mandy. Don't go in there thinking you're going to watch the greatest horror film you've ever seen. You're going to watch Nicolas Cage go full Nicolas Cage with some good gore and a decent storyline behind it. You don't expect, nowadays you don't expect anything overly big from him, do you?
No, exactly.
I mean, I've heard big things. I've not seen it yet about Pig.
I've not.
Joe was really fucking good. That was one of his. That should have made the list, but it didn't. That was one of his new sort of more serious roles. But take everything with a pinch of salt, don't you?
Absolutely. But this is one where as well with this film, my last note on this is where he actually plays a character. He's not just like Nicolas Cage going like full Nicolas Cage. He's actually trying to be a bit more of like a believable veteran crusader soldier, which is quite nice to see him, we talked about his range, something different.
Exactly. But and that's the thing about this list. So we showed this to Hugh earlier and he was asking why this wasn't on it, why that wasn't on it. Some of them I haven't seen before. So I'll tell you now, I've never seen a National Treasure film. Right. I understand people fucking love them. Yeah. But I've just not seen them. Mm-hmm. And he's a very subjective character of what you love. So Mandy being my like all-time favourite, compared to some of these other bangers I'm about to throw out there. Yeah. The film isn't better than that film. It's just this is my favourite.
Totally agree. That's exactly what I've got on my list.
Yeah. Yep. So obviously there'll be a couple we sort of just quickly throw in there at the end because I don't want to say anything until it's on your list. So we might have a couple of the same. So next I'll just throw out the banger, the big un, The Rock.
Yeah.
Is he on your list?
It's my number one.
Sorry, mate.
Don't worry about it. I knew we both have it because it's go on, you talk about it. You picked it first.
It's possibly the most quotable film I've ever come across.
Yes.
Ever. It's just outstanding. I'll tell you what, this is your number one, mate. I want you to give it justice.
I love everything about it. Is it Michael Bay? I want to say it's Michael
It is a Michael Bay film, which is very weird to say I love a Michael Bay film.
Yeah,
because
same.
Fucking Michael Bay.
But it's just a cheesy 90s action film with an insane cast. Nicolas Cage, Sean Connery, Ed Harris, Michael Biehn. I love Michael Biehn, who's a Navy SEAL commander in it. It's cheesy. It's over the top. There's ridiculous dialogue. There's some badass scenes in it. So quotable, like you said. So many iconic shots. I love the shot at the end where he goes out and he's got the flares and he's kneeling down. And like the shot behind as the jets are coming in. It's just a ridiculous premise. So I guess for those that don't know it, a former army colonel, general, I'm not sure of his rank, Ed Harris, has become disillusioned with like his men die. Like he's a special ops guy, isn't he? So like if his men die, they're given no funeral, they get no compensation to their families because it's all like off the books. So he with a load of disillusioned other like veterans, they take over Alcatraz in San Francisco, take over the prison, and they get loads of biological weapons that they steal at the start. So all these chemical ridiculous fantasy chemical anal beads. What is it called? What does Nicolas Cage say? Elegant string of pearls configuration or whatever. The green balls. They take over Alcatraz and then they basically have to break in. The story is they need to break into Alcatraz and try and take these guys down. So,
but
go on.
I've got to ask. Alcatraz is like, you can't get in or out of Alcatraz. So how are you going to get into Alcatraz, Ryan?
Well, you'll need someone the only man that's ever broken out of Alcatraz
Mr. Sean Connery.
So
ridiculous.
Sean Connery, who's been in prison for the last 30 years, locked away. He's like a former SAS operative. He's basically playing old Bond.
Yes.
That's been locked away for 30 years. They get him, and he's going to lead a team of Navy SEAls in to break back into Alcatraz. And Nicolas Cage, who is like this, this chemical expert who knows how to disarm the bombs, basically, and can handle all the biological weaponry. So he's like the nerdy, like geeky guy that's not an action guy, doesn't know how to use his pistol, even though he works for the FBI. Yeah. So those two have like that weird, quirky duo. It's just ridiculous, but it's so much fun. It's I absolutely love that film. I can watch it time and time again.
We'll be watching that late into our 70s.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
If I'm still, I won't be, but if I'm still alive in retirement, mate, I'll still be watching The Rock.
It's exactly the same.
I'll still be quoting it.
Yeah, same.
To this day.
Yeah, totally. I love that film. Yeah, I can't say enough good things about it. Like, you're getting exactly what it says on the tin with that film. It is
The Rock.
Welcome to The Rock.
Right. Although that was mine, I had to let you give that justice because that was your number one. So we could talk about his film all day, and one day we will. So move on to your next.
So my next one, would it not be back to your next one?
No, because that was technically mine, that one.
Okay. So I've gone for... Well, I'll go for one that you've already spoken about.
Mm-hmm.
National Treasure.
Okay, cool.
Again, it's such a fun film. It is a proper Sunday afternoon chilled film. So you've not seen it. So and for those that haven't seen it, it's basically. I was going to say Sean Connery. Nicolas Cage is a treasure expert. Like his family have got history, and there's like this mystery of what happened to like all this fortune, and he is trying to search this treasure. He starts off working with Sean Bean, who's like turns out to be the bad guy because he's funding it all, and it's a race against time. They find there's like a map on the back of the Declaration of Independence.
I was going to say it's all about the Declaration of Independence.
So they have to steal the Declaration of Independence, and then they follow the map, and it gives them to clues, and they're going round, and it's ridiculous. It's sort of like a modern day Indiana Jones-esque sort of action adventure, family friendly film. It's stupid. The story's ridiculous, but it's fun. It's just fun. Nicolas Cage being Nicolas Cage. Again, one of his most mainstream films that appeals to everyone. They did a sequel, which it's fun, but it's not as good as the original.
Okay.
It's light-hearted entertainment.
Yeah.
It's just, again, just so rewatchable. Just stick it on any time and enjoy it.
Yeah, it was always just grabbed me whenever I've sort of, because this was Aaron's favourite Nick Cage film. It was always, the only way it's ever been described to me is Nicolas Cage steals the Declaration of Independence. That's it.
Yeah.
That's the film.
Yeah.
That's the film. And I was like, I'm down for that.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm down for watching Nick Cage steal
it's one
the
of them,
Declaration of
like,
Independence.
it's your stereotypical, like, he breaks in, he's got, like, the nerdy tech guy who's his best mate, like, in his ear, telling me, oh, you got to do this, you got to do that, and there's, like, the beautiful girl that gets caught up in it all, and the British villain who's trying to chase them all down and beat them to the treasure. It's silly, it's fun, it's great cast. Sean Bean, I absolutely love Sean Bean.
Absolutely.
Being a villain, classic. So, definitely go watch. I think they're all on Disney now, the National Treasures.
Are they?
They're all on Disney Plus. So, give it a watch. It's lighthearted, fun.
Okay, cool. I cannot follow that up with the one I was going to put in.
Okay.
So I'll save that just to see if you do any darker ones. So the next one is possibly one of his biggest films, again, of all time, Con Air.
I've got it as well.
Yeah, I thought you might. I thought I'll bang that one out.
I thought you'd have it as well.
Yeah, Con Air. What's his name? Poe. Is it Poe something?
Oh, you're testing me now, because this is one I do love, but I have not seen it that many times.
Yeah, I'm sure his character's name is something Poe. So basically, he is in prison because he gets in a fight with someone at a bar and he kills him.
Yeah,
ends up in prison, taken away from his pregnant wife. He is going to be taken to another prison on Con Air, which is an aeroplane that is moving convicts. He is in with some very highly, highly dangerous people, including Cyrus the Virus.
Cyrus the Virus.
Played by old John Malkovich.
Yep.
They take over the plane. And you know what? I actually can't remember what is there a backup plan, or are they just trying to escape?
They're just trying to escape, aren't
There's
they?
no backup plan. Get the cast list up as well.
I've got it here.
Fucking loads
This
of people
cast
in this
is
film.
insane.
Just go through the cast list quickly.
So you obviously got Nick Cage, John Cusack, John Malkovich, Cole Meany. I'm just going to ones that jump out at me. Ving Rhames.
Ving Rhames is brilliant.
Steve Buscemi, Danny Trejo. I mean,
Steve Buscemi is really bad because he plays this like child killer.
Yeah, he does.
In the end, you actually quite like. And there's this really sadistic scene where he's talking to a child.
Yeah.
But then as they leave him, he's like done something nice for the child and sent it back home again. And you're just like, what the fuck? He's so weird.
He's
and
another
creepy.
great actor with incredible range, but we'll get onto him at a different time.
What's the character's name? What's Nicolas Cage's character's name?
Nicolas Cage is Poe, Cameron Poe.
Cameron Poe, that's it. So the idea is he is now, because I'm pretty sure he's ex-RAF or ex-Navy or something like that.
Something like that, yeah.
He needs to try and stop this fucking ragtag bunch of criminals.
Yeah, because although he's a criminal, he's actually a good guy, isn't he?
He's a good guy. He got in this fight, he was fucking baited into this fight. He didn't want to do anything. He protected himself. This guy, unfortunately, hit his head and died. It is, again, ridiculously quoted. If you don't know this film, you'll have heard the quote, "Put the bunny back in the box."
Yeah.
Like, it is just out stand it. And it's so ridiculously massive. When that plane comes down, bro, the whole of America's going with it. It's just like Avengers style huge.
Oh no, yeah.
You know, he's never met his daughter, but the whole bunny thing, he's bought a bunny for his daughter for when next visit day for a birthday. And there's this really sweet scene at the end where he gets to meet his daughter for the first time, and he just hands her this. He's all fucked up and falling to pieces, and this bunny's singed and holes in it, and it's like, this is for you, darling.
Oh,
like,
it's
just outstanding.
It is, and it's iconic.
And you know what? I don't even think Nicolas Cage makes this film. It's the whole cast.
It's everything. Like, and it's similar with The Rock. The Nicolas Cage isn't the out and out star because it's a star-studded film.
Absolutely,
but he is a massive part of that. He is just as integral as everyone else.
He's the main character, really, isn't he? You know, like John Malkovich as Cyrus is the main bad guy, and everyone's a sort of bit part. But the whole cast in itself, everyone play like John Malkovich is a bastard.
Yeah, he is
an absolute bastard, but you love him.
Yeah, I would say this is the film where, in terms of the look of Cameron Poe, Nicolas Cage's Cameron Poe is his most iconic looking character.
Long hair,
white vest, jeans, pretty hench in it, to be fair. He's pretty big in it, pretty buff. So that is the one, you know, where he's there, like the hair blowing.
The greatest meme of all time.
The greatest meme of all time. I've actually got a Nicolas Cage like emotions chart on my wall at my office at work, and it's how are you feeling today? I think I own her at work found it on the internet, and she's got one, and I had to have one as well. So it's like 9 different Nicolas Cage faces. One of them's
the bees, isn't it?
The bees, yeah, and it's all different faces from different films. And I think that's the one where it's like freely carefree, and it's him there with like his long hair blowing in the wind. So I actually had that on my wall. So I look at Nicolas Cage's faces every day to chart how I'm feeling emotionally.
When was the last time you felt the bees?
The bees!
Not the bees!
Probably, I don't know. Stressful day at work, maybe.
Not the bees, not the
bees. But yeah, like everything, I totally agree with everything you said about Con Air. That's why it's on my list.
Absolutely. So the thing is, I knew we'd have the big uns together.
We're going to have the big uns, and there's actually a lot of big uns that, like I said at the start, they're not on my list, but they could so easily be on my list.
Yeah.
These are just personal favourites, I guess.
Yeah. Okay, so what's your next one then? I've unfortunately stolen 2 of yours now, but...
Well, how many... I've only got 1 left. How many have you got left?
I've got 2 left. So
you do one and then I'll do my last one.
Okay, from that, I'm going to go to a fucking dark one here.
Okay.
Have you ever seen the film 8mm?
I haven't. That's one of his like iconic... Is it one of his 90s ones?
Yeah. It'd be late 90s if it is.
Let me have a look. I'm all up here.
I thought it was
1999.
1999, late 90s. So this film is very, very dark. It's about, he's a private investigator and he gets hired by this rich woman whose husband's just died. And as she's clearing out his stuff, she finds a snuff film. For those people that don't know what snuff is a film where basically they rape and most of the time murder the victim.
It's a snuff film, so it's videoing someone getting killed, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. So she finds a snuff film and she hires him to... Can you just make sure that this is just play pretend and not a real snuff video? It gets dark. It gets into the underbelly of pornography, the seedy side of porn. There's a young Joaquin Phoenix in it who plays a sex shop worker who he brings along for the ride. There's nothing funny about this film. It's a very dark, twisted film. And like I say, it goes into the very deep side of, the dark web, the dirty side of pornography.
Right.
That shit interests me. It does. And, it's not too deep into it, but they finally it turns out that the snuff film is true. They finally come across the guy that did it. And that is, cheers, dude. Pass me a beer. But just, the ending of it I really like, when they finally come across who did it. And,
don't tell me.
And I'm not going to tell you, but his backstory, and you're kind of like, what the fuck?
Yeah, okay.
There's a lot of what the fuck moments, and it is just dark and twisted. And I love my dark thrillers.
Yeah.
And this is exactly what you need.
Nice.
With it being about snuff, will it be being about the dark side of pornography? Might not be your cup of tea. It is definitely my type of film because it is just all kinds of messed up.
Right, okay.
Really enjoy the story. Really enjoy the road they take it down. Love Joaquin Phoenix. Love him.
Yeah.
So seeing a young Joaquin Phoenix in it is great. I highly recommend you watch it. Never watch 8mm 2. I've never seen it, but it's got nothing to do with the first, as far as I'm aware.
Is Nicolas Cage in it?
No.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I highly recommend this film. Again, if that's not your type of thing, don't watch it.
Yeah, I really want to watch it.
I totally understand that subject matter might be quite. My voice is proper going here, but I can understand that the subject matter might be a bit much for some people, and I do get that,
of course.
But it's just a serious Nick Cage film about a seriously horrible subject matter that is done with care and done well.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. No,
And
great.
Joaquin Phoenix.
Great recommendation.
Cool.
It's definitely on my list to watch.
Yeah.
There's so many Nicolas Cage films that I want to watch, like so many of his iconic ones, that being one of them. Even things like total opposite, flip side of that, something like a romantic City of Angels.
Have you ever seen City of Angels?
Never seen it.
Mate, what a film.
Yeah.
I cried to that film.
Yeah.
First time I saw it.
I've heard like so many good things. It's one of them that I've seen bits of it on telly, but I've always turned off because I always wanted to watch it from start to finish.
Yeah.
And I actually got into a bit of a Nicolas Cage binge. I think it was last year, and I just raided like eBay and got loads of it. It's like early films, so like Red Rock West, Wild at Heart, loads of the films like that from like his early like 80s, 90s, and I bought them all for like £1 off of eBay. So I've got a big stack of Nicolas Cage DVDs at home that are just ready to binge. I can't remember if I bought 8mm then as well, but I've got loads ready to go because there's just so much variety, so much. He offers so much.
He fucking does offer so much. Right, give us your last one then, baby boy.
So my last one is actually a bit more of a serious one as well. It's not a ridiculous one. It's one of his more serious roles. So I've gone for Lord of War.
Never seen it.
So do you know the premise of it?
No.
So the premise is he is a arms dealer. So he's an international arms dealer. He buys and sells guns to whoever, the highest bidder.
Okay.
He'll sell to terrorists. He'll sell to rebel factions. He'll sell to anyone, whoever's paying him money. He has dealings with the US government. He is like a dodgy guy. So he sets up this business basically, and it follows his life from like him starting in like, I don't know, I think he has like a family. I haven't seen it for years, but I'm sure he starts in for like his family restaurant, and then he buys like one gun, like, I don't know, it's like an Uzi or something, and then he sells it to like a gang member, and he makes a profit on it, and he's like, and he starts off like that, and then, you know, to the point where he's getting like buying loads of ex-Soviet hardware, like weaponry, and then selling it to like African like gun lords and war tribes and stuff. And like it's him and his brother Jared Leto plays his brother, like a young Jared. It literally looks like he's walked off the set of a 30 Seconds to Mars music video with his long hair.
Yeah.
So those two are the brothers, and like they run this empire, and it's about how they affects them, and they're being chased by, basically they've got this US agent that's trying to track them down and trying to catch them, who's played by Ethan Hawke.
Fucking another massive cast.
Yeah, so it's an insane film, but it's a serious role, and it's one of those where it's not Nicolas Cage being Nicolas Cage. It's quite gritty, it's quite dark, and it's all about how like his character is driven by the fact that he doesn't give a shit about like the repercussions of what he's doing. He does it because he likes doing it, and it gives him money and it gives him power.
Yeah.
You know, the opening scene is incredible, where it basically, like the opening like credits trawl, it follows the life of a bullet. So it's all about a bullet on like a production line getting made.
That's really interesting. I like
and
shit
it
like
literally
that.
follows it all the way along on its production line, and then it gets put in a box, and then it gets sent to this guy, and then it's like a box of bullets, and then it gets sent here, and then it's like someone loading it into a magazine, and then it gets put into the rifle, and then the rifle gets cocked, and then the bullet gets fired. The whole time you are following right behind the bullet, and the bullet gets fired, and I'm sure, could be wrong, but I'm sure it gets shot into like an African soldier child's head.
Oh, fucking hell, right.
And it's like,
okay.
I could be totally wrong, but it's something like that. It gets shot into someone straight away.
Yeah, yeah.
And so you've literally followed this what seems like a quirky little daft scene where you're following the bullet on the production line. Oh, it goes here and then falls into this box and taken here and flown across the world and then loaded into a gun, put into a rifle.
It's a killer.
And
That's
shot
what it is.
and killed. Boom, someone's dead. So suddenly you're like, fuck, that's the reality. Bullets are made to kill people, and then you just watch this bullet, and it's the bullet's life.
Yeah.
And so suddenly, this is actually a serious film.
Yeah. The bullet's life ends when someone else's life ends. That type of thing.
Yeah. So that is a really, really good Nicolas Cage film. One that's under the radar, I think. Perhaps one of his better rated films as well. I looked through his IMDb stuff in preparation for this, but that's one I've watched quite a lot. Obviously, being a big Jared Leto fan.
Right, I can't believe I've heard of the film.
It's
I can't believe I didn't know it was...
I want to say it's like 2004 or something like that.
Okay.
It's around that time, so like you sort of early 2000s. Yeah, 2005. So it's just after he did National Treasure. Ah!
Oh God!
Throwing cans everywhere.
Just smashing the house up.
Smashing the house up. But yeah, so like 7.6 on your IMDb. So it's
Banging.
like. Yeah, Nicolas Cage, Ethan Hawke, Jared Leto. Yeah.
Right, I'll give this a go.
Definitely give it a watch.
I'll try find it somewhere then, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's two pretty serious dark roles he's gone for, and I would like to take you back for my last one. Take you right back to the fucking great real comedy of Nicolas Cage. So we're going to go to I just want to find the year, 1987, Coen Brothers Raising Arizona.
Oh, so good.
I love the Coen Brothers.
Yeah, me too.
They just shit gold.
Mm.
They're weird, they're fucking quirky, they're very weird, like brotherhood, but they are so amazing. So Raising Arizona is about... Nicolas Cage's character, H.I. McDonough or something like that.
H.I. McDonough, yeah.
He is a liquor store robber. He's always in and out of jail.
Yeah, he's a petty crook, isn't he?
Petty crook. He's always getting arrested. He looks fucking crazy. His hair's all over the place. Banging mustache.
Incredible mustache.
He keeps getting arrested. Keeps getting his mugshot taken by the woman in the police station. They fall in love. A woman called Ed. He promises himself that this is him now. He's never going to commit another crime. He's met the woman of his dreams. They're going to settle down and have a family, so they're going to adopt a child. Unfortunately, he's been a bastard and they can't adopt a child.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a rich family knocking about who's just had quadruplets.
Is it quad or is it five?
Is it five? Something had loads of kids. And they're just like, these rich arseholes have enough kids.
Yeah.
Let's go get one.
Yeah.
This film is about stealing a baby.
Yes, I know.
And it's one of the greatest comedies of the 80s.
Yeah.
It is up there. Typical Coen Brothers humor, dark, witty, like dry as fuck sense of humor.
Yeah.
I don't want to give any more of the film because that is it. It's just them stealing a baby. It's just outstanding. Like, again, Nicolas Cage's sort of like entrance into the comedy. Like, that's what he was when he was a comedian for the longest times.
Yeah.
And he struck gold so it's Holly Hunter who plays Ed,
Mm-hmm.
and just struck gold working with the Coen brothers, and they bring the best out of Nick Cage that they possibly can. He is a typical Nick Cage, going full Nick Cage, quirky as fuck character.
Absolutely.
I love it. So you say you're a big fan?
I do really, really like this film. It's not one I've seen loads, and I only got introduced to it when I bought, like I said, I bought that
I've only seen it twice.
Big stack of DVDs that I raided eBay for. I bought Raising Arizona, and I watched it straight away because that was top of my list. Like, I need to watch this film because loads of people have recommended it. It's I always bleat on about Edgar Wright, the director.
Absolutely.
It's his favourite film of all time. Did you know?
Really?
Yes. He always says that it's his favourite film of all time.
Amazing.
So because of that, it's been like on my radar for the longest time. So I've only seen it maybe once or twice.
Yeah.
But I really enjoyed it. Like I said, love the Coen brothers. They have a certain style of comedy that you see throughout their films, which doesn't always strike home with everyone.
No, we'll definitely do a Coen Brothers episode.
Yeah. Oh, that'd be
their
great.
films are fucking banging.
Yeah. But yeah, I totally agree with everything you said.
Yeah. So that is our top 5. I think we've both got some wicked recommendations. I'm just on the IMDb now, so I'm just going to throw out there some other sort of potentials that I loved. So in 2019, he did Colour Out of Space, which is
I watched
H.P.
that.
Lovecraft.
That was mental.
Off its tits. Loved it, though.
Yeah, me too.
Really
it was
good
ridiculous.
sci-fi alien type film.
A colour crash land, like a meteor, and then like a colour
It's like a
comes
pinky
out of it.
colour.
Yeah,
it's
and then it just like makes them all go fucking mental.
Yeah, it's such a weird, wonderful film.
Yeah.
Loved it. Obviously, he played Noir in Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse.
I wrote some of them down. A lot of those things like that, they're nowhere near my list, but whilst they're incredible films, I wouldn't consider that a Nick Cage film.
No, because he's
very much a bit part in it, but similar with Kick-Ass.
Yes, oh shit! Of course, he plays Daddy, doesn't he?
He plays Daddy,
Yeah.
and his character is fantastic in that. And you know, Kick-Ass is an unreal film anyway. Aaron Taylor Johnson, where it all began for him.
Yes, boy.
But again, I would say it's not necessarily a Nick Cage film, if that makes sense.
I'm going to chuck this out there, and I know people hate this film. I have this slight wee little fucking not obsession with it, but I quite enjoyed it for what it was. It's a film called Mum and Dad, and basically the whole premise of the film is, you know, like, what's the fucking film, The Happening, where people just randomly start killing themselves?
Yes.
It's like this mass hysteria where parents turn violent and try to kill the kids.
Okay.
And Nicolas Cage plays one of the dads.
Right.
And it's basically following this girl that's trying to not get killed by her parents. It's dog shit. But there's something about it that I've really,
not seen
really
that one.
enjoyed.
I mean, there's some massive ones that we've not included. Neither of us said Face Off, which could easily be on my list. Whereas The Rock, for example, I've grown up with that film. I've seen it so many times. Face Off, I've only seen like a couple of times. So for me, that's why it's not on my personal list. But I totally understand why it would be loads of people's number one film.
Absolutely.
You know, look at Pedro Pascal in Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent with his statue of him with the 2 golden guns. It's one of his great films.
Just having a look at Weatherman from 2005. I really enjoyed. Gone in 60 Seconds.
Yeah, we've not spoken about that.
Which easily could have made it on there.
Yeah.
Snake Eyes.
I think City of Angels around the same time. So anything from the 90s that he did was pretty much massive.
Oh, fucking definitely, mate. Yeah. Just sort of Wild at Heart, as you mentioned earlier. Time to Kill, Moonstruck.
Yeah.
Oh, God, you just go through it all day, couldn't you?
Yeah.
But he is an absolute hero in his own right. Yes, he brings out some dog shit, but he also brings out films like I say, Joe was fantastic. This Pig is meant to be great.
Yeah.
And he might do a shitty cop buddy film that was made, with 20 quid that someone had in the back pocket.
Yeah.
It's fine. Some of them actually turn out to be great. I mean, that Colour Out of Space itself was weird and wonderful and what the fuck's going on?
Yeah, exactly.
But okay, Mum and Dad was shit, absolute dog shit.
Yeah.
But it's made again for 20 quid, but it's just a bit of fun and a bit of whatever. But then you get his serious films like Lord of War, like 8mm, that you get to just get indulged in this dark storyline. It's brilliant. He's such a great actor and we all love him. Absolutely.
Can't say anything more than that.
So I think, what time are we on? Yeah, about an hour and a half in. I said we get this done in 90 minutes. just went over. Right, so guys, please give us a like, give us a share, tell your friends, tell your mum, tell everyone to give us a listen. We're doing all right at the moment. It's getting quite nice. We're getting a lot more people interacting with us on socials, which is great. We're getting messages from people like, a friend of mine just told me to listen to your podcast. I don't even know he's heard of you before. Like, this is really nice. We're getting some more random listeners that we weren't getting before, which is really nice, saying, such and such has now listened to it, or a friend of a friend has now listened to it, so which is incredible. In fact, one of the greatest things ever, so Claire is a teacher. Claire's head teacher sent Claire his top 5 list of cereals after listening to
on Boxing Day.
If you're, I can't remember what the guy's name is, Rob, if you're listening to this, that made my Boxing Day.
It was
really
incredible.
Did make my fucking Boxing Day. So you owe us a top. We promised that we do a top 5 for you. So Rob, get in contact. Give us a top 5 to go for. We'd love to do one for you because I'm
100%.
I had a
totally
very
agree.
quiet, boring Christmas, and that I woke on Boxing Day excited to see Little Un, and that really made my day seeing that. So thank you so much. So yeah, like, share, subscribe, do everything. And
yes, please send us your top 5 Nicolas Cage
Oh,
films.
definitely. Let's get talking about Nick Cage. This is us for weeks now chatting Nick Cage.
Oh yeah, totally.
Which
And
is not a bad
I'm
thing.
all about that. Yeah,
Definitely. Right, guys, thank you so much, and we'll
Yes.
see you in a week.
Thank you very much.